Hi everyone, I am Adewumi Adeniyi, and today I'm going to be talking about the cells of the nervous system. Cells of the nervous system. Usually, there are two categories of cells in the nervous system. There are two types of cells in the nervous system. Number one is the nerve cell or neurons, nerve cell or neuron, and the second is the glial cell or glial cells or glia. Now, why neurons are usually excitable, which means they can generate and transmit action potentials. Glias are not excitable. They cannot generate nor transmit action potential. Their main function is to support neurons. So the main function of glia is to support neuron. Now, an axon is a long extension that help neurons to conduct action potential over long distances. Glia do not have axon, while neurons have axon, which is their long extensions that help them to conduct information over long distances. A nerve is a bundle of axon that come from many neurons. So when you have axons, bundles of axon arranged together like wires, okay, they make a nerve. When you have axons come together like wire, they make what we refer to as a nerve. So we talk about glia, talk about neuron, talk about a nerve, and many axons are usually wrapped by glia to isolate them, okay, just like insulation, like we have insulating rubber covering an electric wire, okay. So usually nerves are wrapped by glia like a myelin sheet, okay, that are intercepted at interval by node of Rabia. They help to isolate neuron and speed up the conduction of action potential along that neuron. Then now, what do you mean by neuron? Let's say somebody asks you to define a neuron. A neuron is a specialized cell of the nervous system that stores information and carry messages within the nervous system and between other body systems. A neuron is a specialized cell of the nervous system. A neuron stores information and carries messages within the nervous system and between other body systems. And the neuron is the basic structural unit of the nervous system. The neuron is the basic structural unit of the nervous system. And usually when a neuron mature, they lose their power of regeneration. This is due to their extreme specialization. So the basic characteristics of cell, which is ability to divide by cell division, is completely lost when a neuron mature. Nervous system can process their information because their neurons are organized. Organization of a neuron into neural networks help in the conduction of or in the processing of information. And there are two ways by which neurons can be classified. There are two ways by which neurons can be classified. These are functional classification and structural classification. So functionally, on the basis of function, there are three categories of neuron. There are three categories of neuron on the basis of their function. We have afferent neuron, okay. There are three categories of neuron on the basis of function, and this help in the input and integration and output of information, okay. We have afferent neuron, which is also referred to as sensory neuron. Afferent or sensory neuron that carry information into the nervous system. So afferent neuron bring information into the nervous system. Let's take a look at this diagram. Okay, let's say this is the surface of the skin. Okay, the surface of the skin surface. We are talking about vertebrate now. Surface of the skin. Okay, and then neuron like this. So this is the cell body of the neuron. The cell body of the neuron. And then you have the dendritic ending here. The dendrite. Okay, this is a rough example of sensory neuron afferent. When you see a neuron like this, okay, this is cell body. Okay, cell body of the neuron, and these are dendrite. Okay, so this it's a dendrite. Okay, and there is a synapse here. There will be a synapse here that will synapse with the nerve cell. Usually the cell of the nervous cell, because this is a sensory neuron that is conducting information from the environment into the central nervous system. So the cell will synapse here with the cells of the nervous system. Okay, and the next one after this one is the next category of neuron after this one is association neuron. You call it association, either you call it association neuron, or you say intermediate neuron, or we call it interneuron. Their function is integration. They integrate information, they store the information, and they provide communication between afferent neuron and efferent neuron. So usually when you see a neuron that look like this, okay, so this is one dendritic ending, this is another dendritic ending. Okay, this type of neuron, this is the cell body of the neuron is located there. Cell body is located there. So usually when you see a neuron that look like this, they are usually found in the central nervous system. Okay, you have just the neuron end both here, something similar. Okay, so they are only found in the central nervous system. This kind of neuron is only found in the central nervous system. And then the third category of neuron is what we refer to as efferent neuron or motor neuron, usually associated with the central nervous system as well, unlike the sensory neuron that are found within the sense organs like the skin, the nose, the hair, the eyes. Where the motor neuron is associated with because it carries command from the central nervous system to the motor effector. So usually the motor neuron may look like this. You have they say okay, say the motor neuron, you see something like maybe like a wire like this, like a motor, something like this. Okay, and these are the dendritic ending, the dendrite. Okay, so the CNS from the CNS is coming from here, and then the information is going, the information travel down the axon to the motor effector. So the cell synapse with the effector here. Okay, so we have been able to mention the three now. So we have afferent neuron, we have efferent neuron, and then you have association neuron. Efferent neuron, afferent neuron, association neuron. And usually if you are talking about how the nervous system are organized, usually we have neurons. Okay, so then after neuron they can have ganglia. Then the largest and the most advanced, that's the brain. Okay, found in vertebrae. Now these are the diagram to show the functional classification of neuron. Let's say this is the surface, the skin surface here, the environment, okay, of the cell here, and then a signal is received here. So a stimulus is received here, and the generation of action potential, the information travel down the neuron. Okay, see the direction of arrows, travel down the neuron to the central nervous system. This type of neuron is only found in the central nervous system here. This association neuron here, association neuron. Then it signal with, or it synapse with the motor neuron, or signal to the motor neuron the information, the command, and then the command is carried to the effector that produces the change. Okay, so this is the, here you have the central nervous system here. Okay, now we are going to look at the structural classification of neuron. Structural classification of neuron. Now, on the basis of structure, we can have bipolar neuron. You can have unipolar neuron, and then we can have multipolar neuron. Let's take a look at this neuron. This is the cell body. When you look at the cell body, only one process came out of the cell body, though it's now divided into two, but it is only one process. This is what we call unipolar neuron. But when you come here, you discover that this is the cell body. There are two processes, one here, the other one down. So this is bipolar. Bi means two. So we have two processes. So it's a bipolar neuron. Then the third category we have is a multipolar neuron. This is the cell body, and you now have different processes from the cell body. Okay, so we refer to this as multipolar neuron. Multipolar neuron. Okay, so that is on the basis of their structure. So we have three categories. You have unipolar, you have bipolar, and then you have multipolar neuron. This is the structure of a neuron. If you want to talk about the generalized structure, okay, this is the cell body of the neuron here, and you have the nucleus inside it. Then these are the dendron here, dendron, and these are dendrite. This is the axon hillock, the seat of integration. It's at the base of the cell body, and you have a node of Ranvier that intercept the myelin sheath at interval. Then you have the Schwann cell. Okay, all this help the axon to speed up information, the transmission of or the conduction of action potential, and this is the axon terminal. Axon terminal here. Okay, axon terminal here. That's the end of the neuron. Okay, the information travel down, but this is answer. The axon, the information travel down, and then there will be a synapse here, where the cell will synapse synapse with the neighboring cell. Now, still on the structure of the neuron, if you take a look at this neuron here, this is the cell body, and these are the cell body is here. These are dendrite. Okay, and then you have the axon hillock at the base of the cell body, and this is the axon. The information flow down, and these are the axon terminal, and there's a synapse here. Here, this is the cell body of another neuron. So this will be pre-synaptic cell, it will be post-synaptic cell, and the same thing goes for this one. Now let's briefly look at synapse. What is a synapse? A synapse is a minute junction or a minute space between one cell and another. A minute junction between one cell and another. And usually in vertebrate, information are transmitted across the synapse by chemical means. When you look at invertebrate, information are transmitted across the synapse by electrical means. So there are two types of synapse. We have electrical synapse and then we have chemical synapse. Electrical synapse is common to invertebrate, while chemical synapse is common to vertebrate. Electrical synapse, the then the cell body, the cytoplasmic end of one cell, just connect to the next one, and information are passed across them, from one cell to another. But in chemical synapse, there is release of chemical. Okay, so synapse is a minute junction between one cell and the next cell, between two cells. Okay, junction between two cells. When the end branch of an axon come into contact with the muscle fiber cell, instead of another cell, now we now have muscle fiber like a motor neuron coming from the CNS, synapsing with a muscle fiber, that is a motor effector. Now in this case, we refer to it as motor end plate. So a motor end plate is formed when the end branch of an axon come into contact with a muscle fiber. The transmission of impulses across the motor end plate is usually similar to that across the synapse. Okay, now briefly, let's take a look at similarity and differences between nerve cell and other body cell. Similarity: usually both the nerve cell and other body cells are surrounded by cell membrane. Both the nerve cell and other body cells are surrounded by a cell membrane, and they both the nerve cell and other body cells have nucleus. They both have nucleus. They both have other cell organelles like mitochondria in their cytoplasm. What about differences? Now let's take a look at somebody say you should differentiate between nerve cell and other body cell, like I've given my students some times ago. Usually nerve cells have specialized structures. They have cell body, they have dendrite, they have axon for the transmission of information. On the other hand, other body cells do not have cell body. Though they have neuron, but there is no cell body. They do not have dendrite, they do not have axon. Okay, but neurons or nerve cells have dendrite, they have axon, they have cell body. Nerve cells communicate with one another by electrochemical means. Okay, there could be chemical signaling between cells, between other body cells, but communication between one nerve cell and another nerve cell is by electrochemical means. And most nerve cells, when they are old, they are not replaced after death. They are not replaced. They cannot regenerate. They cannot regenerate. There's no regeneration. There's no way a particular nerve cell can give rise to another cell by cell division, since they have lost it because of their extreme specialization. So that is where we are going to stop for today. We've been able to look at the cells of the nervous system. So we say there are glia and then there are neurons. The neurons are excitable, glia are not excitable. A neuron can transmit information, they can generate action potential, they can transmit action potential. Glia cannot generate action potential, they cannot transmit action potential. And we say a neuron is a specialized cell of the nervous system. And then we said that we talk about categories of neuron. We say neuron can be classified functionally and structurally. On the basis of function, we have three categories. We have association neuron, we have efferent neuron, and then we have afferent neuron. And then we said that afferent neuron are also called sensory neuron. They bring information to the central nervous system, and they are usually found in the sense organs or close to the sense organ, between the sense organ and the CNS. While association neurons are found only in the central nervous system, and motor neurons are also connected to the central nervous system. And we also talk about structural classification. So we could have a bipolar neuron, you could have unipolar neuron, and you could have multipolar neuron. And then we talk about synapse. We say synapse is a minute junction between one cell and the other. And we take a look at differences and similarity. We say both nerves, and talking about the difference, similarity. Both of them have nucleus. another body, another cellular organelles, and we will say both of them, both nerve cell and both nerve cell and other body cell have cell membrane. Okay, and then we take our time to look at a difference. You say nerve cell communicate by electrochemical means, and they have there's a synapse between one cell and the other. And then we say nerve cells usually they have specialized structures, the dendrite, the axon, the cell body for the transmission of information, and this cell body, this dendrite, this axon is not found in other bodies. And lastly, we nerve cell or neuron are not replaced after death. So that is where we stop for today. Thank you for listening and watching, and watch out for our next clip. Have a nice day.